Hey everybody, this is Tarot Course video number 1, introduction to the cards. In this particular case, we're going to be doing a quick little run through on the major and minor arcana. This is the um, Universal Waite deck. The lines are pretty much the same as the Rider Waite with very small minor variations such as the cat and a few other things. But they didn't fix the Three of Swords, which is kind of funny. If you're seeing this, you've probably already had a few classes with me, but I want to put this on video so that you have a chance to actually see it, in case you are much more of a visual person, tarot being a visual media. Anything that's obvious, I'm just going to pass over because we've already talked about this in class. But specifically, couple of things I want to point out. Nice little Facebook logo, for the like button. That came up in a reading, and I just thought it was rather apropos because it was very funny. This image was taken from a John Waterhouse image, St. Cecilia, and you can see the connections between the two wands, this peak, this mountain fortress over here, this rose. In this particular card, there's a mountain fortress over here you can see, and the twin castles here, and the farms are a little bit more clear than on the original. When I say the original Rider-Waite, I'm talking about the plain old boring Rider-Waite that I love so much. The so-called original Rider-Waite that was made in 2004 is beneath my contempt. It's a little easier to see here that the ships are actually sailing away. Here's our friend, the manager. I often like to say that this guy is actually standing up there because you can see he's looking out, and we look around here and we see, look at how fertile the land is. This guy has resources. He doesn't live in a country where there's war, strife, where it's barren. There's farms, there's other wealthy people. There's a fortress way over there. There's access to a bay, which is fish and international trade, as we can see from here. So in all three cards, and then we're looking up at his castle. Well, that's a pretty nice place. So obviously he's doing well for himself. Again, as I like to say in my story, got an idea, I get the balls to carry it out. Here I'm planning it out. Here, I'm sending my ships out to sea because remember, they're sailing out. They're not coming back in. In this case, the ships have come back in. So this is more of a management card. Oh, things are going well. Don't screw this one up. And of course, no sooner than that all happens, and everybody wants to be in control. Isn't that the way life is? Now, most cards you see in the tarot, most people are dressed very plainly. Here he has little spots. Here he has, they're polka dots in the original Rider-Waite, but here, you can see that it's a little bit more fancy of a print. So usually the only people with the fancy print are the more well-to-do. Look at Mr. Page. Well, he's dressed up pretty nice, isn't he? And the Fool, holy crap, he's dressed to the nines. Look at all that. Unlike his friend Mr. Magician. But most of the people are dressed pretty plain, like peasants. Now remember, he not only has a laurel here, but he has a wreath that is impaled on his staff. I'll leave you to figure out what that means. But yeah, it is exactly what it means. It's male posturing. Remember, it was done in 1909, 1910, those two particular years, so you can imagine what was going on back then. Again, some people point this out. Different shoes. I'll show you why. I'll show you my theory of why. I don't know if there is an established fact on that. I certainly haven't found one. In my course, we talk about how annoying this card is. Remember, the way we look at this is over here. There are 8 guys lined up going, and the 9th guy going, ready, aim, throw. And then they throw, and then the photographer takes the photo of everything in the air, all being thrown in the same direction, all at one time. So that makes it the opposite of this card. Opposite of this card, where everybody's like, oh, I want to be in charge. I want to be in charge. See, everything's smooth and going at the same time. in the same direction. This, who knows? Okay, leaving this guy out here for a moment. Here, nothing special to note other than what I've already told you. Bandage on his head. Here, he's got miles to walk before I sleep. A little Robert Frost there. All aces are amplifiers. Some people say this is M for the Magdalene, and it's upside down because it's descending. Although that's really, Waite didn't leave us a lot of clues. He liked his whole mystery thing. But yeah, this Communion Dove. It's a very Catholic card. This, funny enough, is fresh water. I'm gonna say, because it's got lily pads. I do not know that lily pads predominantly grow in an ocean. Kelp grows in an ocean, but that would be something different. And well, it could be said that salt water is purifying. I'll bet dollars to donuts that's fresh water coming out of the pond. So, based on the symbological value. Again, here's a very nicely dressed person. Remember the gender switch. There's a word for it, and I apologize that I don't have it right now. But she's wearing the masculine laurel. He's wearing the roses. The point being is that they're actually trying to get along. They're actually trying. They're making an attempt. And that's a huge statement there. That these two are making a real commitment to walk a mile in each other's moccasins. And that's what makes this so special. See, three of cups, celebration, good friends, loyal friends. Now, here's one thing I don't like about this. We see his eyeballs. Point right there. See, you see, oops, see his eyeballs. In the original, and I'm going to keep saying that when I see the original Rider-Waite, it always bothers me. But in the real Rider-Waite, you don't see his eyeballs because you don't know whether he's sleeping, is he missing the boat, or is he going, no, check me. And then there's this guy, and as you know, I like to complain. He had to come out here, find that they were knocked over, go all the way back, oops, over the house, go inside, root around the closet, find his morning cloak. Now, if this guy has his morning cloak ready to go, then he's drama boy. Otherwise, he had to spend a lot of time to find a black morning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G cloak. Come all the way back here and stand for the picture. Unless he's goth boy, he doesn't walk around wearing black all the time. So this is kind of funny that this guy is being overly dramatic. With all that effort that he just made, this stuff better be liquid gold. Because otherwise he could have probably gotten a sponge and soaked some of it up if it's worth that much money or whatever. Or cleaned it up or avoided the mess. But what are the chances that anybody walks around with a morning cloak or Princess Bride? If I only had a Holocaust cloak, oh, where'd you get that? Miracle Max, he said it fits so nice I can keep it. Oh God, you know how much I hate this card. It looks like an old German lady and a boy whose head is too big. But be that as it may, remember the guard is walking on patrol. If he were running around, then, that would be action, that would be danger, or things going. But anytime a guard is just on patrol, that means everything's cool. This is a peaceful place to raise your kids, even though it's scary looking. Notice the cold weather. They're all, well, she's wearing 1, 2, 3 layers of clothes. He's wearing a few layers of clothes. She's wearing these giant mittens that say, I'm cold, I'm cold. The raised platform here that I talk about in the lessons, you would only have that if this ground here it gets soggy and you can't walk on it because you'll get all squished in the mud. Because this is just a raised platform that goes as a walkway and it steps right down onto the dirt. Now the guards may not be so lucky. They may have to just go everywhere. The kids, of course, because it's not soggy, they're out playing. But you wouldn't go to all this trouble unless in a cold climate it was snowy or rainy or whatever to elevate, because that's a good 1.5 feet up off the ground. That takes a lot of expense and labor to make that. I point it out because I want you to see into the cards. 7 deadly sins. Or actually, they could be. But it's basically choices. So here we've got the choices. And notice the guy's black silhouette. Pam uses red a lot. I don't see any here just yet. But some cards she really screams out and says, red, red, you know, red. See, he's visionary. He's thinking. It's all about his head, and he's thinking. Oh, here we go. Red. This guy's in silhouette because she's trying to downplay him. So it's all about this, not him. Um, Here's my complaint again. I always say that this crescent moon should be in the water because in the water it would be more symbologically correct. It would say, here's a reflection of this man's emptiness inside his soul. Whereas the moon, the full moon, shows he wants to move on towards that. That's his desires for something beyond. These are all nice and neatly stacked up. So he's leaving a comfortable environment. He's not like the refugees in the Six of Swords. I'll jump ahead here. They're just running away. Ah, run away! You know, quick, grab my stuff, just go. They didn't even bother to pack. They're like, get the hell out of here. Troubled waters. We'll get back to that. But these two are running away. Notice this guy's standing his ground. I'm going to stand my ground. Well, screw that. We're running away. I'm sneaking off in the middle of the night. So this guy may just be skipping out on the left. Begin with the red. You know, these are all my sex trophies. Look at this. He's got a nice stripy shirt. This big red hat. He's all up inside his head. It's all about him. Me, me, me. If you've taken my course, you remember that 9s and 10s are ending cards. 9s are more individual. 10s are more us. Me, us, me, us. Let's go on here. This one here is a little less me, us, but it's more ultimate, penultimate. So like the farthest you get to the point where you're the top gunslinger in the world, yeah, you're always watching yourself. You're always looking over your shoulder. You're always waiting for that next person to come up and try to take you out, try to steal your crown. If you evolve beyond that, you've got all your trophies, but boy, what a burden it is at the life of adventure. Tarot is very preachy that way. But again, this is individual happiness. This is woohoo, allegedly, a better way to go. This is the easiest card in the world. Victory, death. Victory, death. Pointy end goes in the other guy. Pointy end does not go in you. This card causes a lot of people troubles. She's not letting anybody in. She's just sitting there. She's got her sword. She's got her blindfolds. It's very simple. Her arms are crossed. Look at her body language. She's being very defensive. And she's got two giant swords that are so big they extend off of the page in every version of the deck. That means if you get close to her, she will lash out and hack at you. She has a blindfold on because she doesn't care if she's known you for years. She doesn't care who you are. She didn't want to hear it. No one gets close to me. So this is someone going, la 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 la, I'm not listening, I'm not listening. You know? Swords equal violence, conflict. That's why they're swords, you know. Otherwise they'd be feathers, you know. Ooh. So if anybody says that this is supposed to represent communications, I'll say, you know what, I'll take another form of communications. I'll deal with this guy, at least he might listen. Three of Swords, here's another card, and we're going to get to that in a moment.